if you're not seeing. All right, great. So is it you or is there someone else with you? Richard, okay. And you guys are familiar with FileMaker? Okay, well, you've heard of it, right? You use it or what? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I've done FileMaker for almost 20 years, and we've developed a solution uh, with many clients all over the world. And we have a event management equipment rental module that we've developed with a lot of different kinds of companies. We have done one with an exhibit company at one point, but I don't know exactly what your needs are. But if you could tell me what you're looking for, then I can basically point them out in the demo and show you how it could work for you. Okay. No, no, I got it. I got it. Exactly. Um, well, it's going to take you a lot longer to start from scratch. We already have something that's 90, usually 90%, 95% what most clients need, and we can work with your guy, or we have our own team of staff. We have 10 people who do customizations, or we can partner with you, so we can work either way. We sell our system open so that it can be easily customized by our clients so that they can feel empowered to create it exactly the way they want to. The idea here is that we connect all the parts from everything you said, from your start to your finish. We have processes or pieces or modules that address your needs. Um, we can do the contact management, we can do the sales, we can do the accounting, we can do the production management. So, are you doing any rental of the exhibits, or you mainly are just preparing booths for people? All right. Have you gotten any quotes from anyone to know what it's going to take to do something from scratch? Hmm. Hmm. Okay. All right. Well, um, you can see my screen, right? And do you have like an hour, or how much time do you have? Okay, so I'll go through this pretty quickly. But if you want to stop me at any point, you can, and we can interact, and you can ask any questions you'd like. But right now, we have three main areas. We have sales operations, admin operations, and accounting operations. So under sales, you would do your sales management, your purchasing of all your components and your materials. Fulfillment is your shipping. If you do any web orders, if you want to integrate it with a website to integrate and download the orders directly into your system, that's what the e-commerce is for. And then rental would enable you to keep track of all your rentals. Admin is full featured uh, contact management, where you keep track of all your appointments. You can email directly out of the system all these invoices you're talking about, or all these forms. You can do directly and keep track of them as part of a contact history. Inventory and products keeps track of that. You can build your bill of materials. I'll show you, we have a multi-level bill of materials tool to, in a sandbox situation, just move it all around and create all the levels you need. We have a manufacturing module that keeps track of all your production management. You can define all your stages, and here's your payment processing and your invoicing, um, and so forth. And then if you need, we have all full-fledged accounting. We've taken many people off of QuickBooks, and they're, good-sized companies are using our accounting system. Um, so you can see we have all the major pieces that you just mentioned. We've been doing this is a new version that we were just releasing, but we've been around, as I said, for like almost 20 years doing this kind of work, and it's all based in FileMaker. So FileMaker enables you to see your data on the desktop, on Windows or Mac. You can also see it on the web or on an iPad or tablet. And if you need some special screens for iPhones, that's possible also. So it gives you a lot of opportunities to have your data available. You can put this on a server, and everyone on your team can access the database at the same time. So you come over here in your setup, and then you set up all your users, and you can give them all different security levels and access levels and so forth. So you only buy the modules that you need for each thing. So if you only needed a few for manufacturing or a few for counting, whatever, you just buy the users you need for each module. So I'm just going to briefly, let's see, do you want me to focus on sales first or production management? All right, so I'm going to go over to sales. So here you can see metrics here. You can set these metrics up. It shows you how many quotes you have, what the total of those quotes is, how many sales you made. how many sales you made this week. You can set up goals here and define, how much you want to make on a daily basis, how much you want to make on a weekly basis, and how much you want to make on a monthly basis. So then quickly you can get an overview based on the system, a readout. I don't think I have data in here, but you'd see a chart here that would show you immediately where your situation is. You can have all these reports by module, which are going to show you all your sales, all your production, everything. So this gives you an idea of what's going on. So let's go into the sales. You go to the sales screen, you can see all your sales here. You can sort by any list, and then you can search anything. So you want to search by a salesperson's name or a customer name. So if I just type ASH, immediately, all the Ashleys come up, and I see Ashley has some open quotes. I can just click on a quote, and I can go to the detail and see all the details of her quote. If I had a new customer, I go over here to Sales Action, I create New Sale, and then I can just pick a customer here, and I like Ashley today, so I'll pick her again. And then here she is. And then all her information comes in. You can have a shipping address, a billing address, or if you have to do a third party, you can have multiple locations. You can have lots of flexibility. So all this contact would come in. Or if you wanted to, you created a new customer, you could just click here and just enter all the information here, and this would go into the contact system. You can have it exactly the way you want. You can get underneath the hood. You can take away things. Yeah. So you just go over here, custom menus, standard filework menus. You go into the layout mode, and you can, change all the fields however you want. So everything is very flexible and changeable. So now this little wizard here ensures data integrity, that in order to move through each stage of the sales process, you have to make sure that the data is being entered correctly as you go. So here you can have multiple price types. You can set up each customer. You can have retail level, discount level, wholesale level, or custom levels, how many ever you want. You can put the customer PO number here. If you have a sales team, the sales commission, you can click them off. They get their commission there. Taxing, it goes by usually the shipping address in terms of where you're going to ship it to, and so forth. So when you click there, so now you're ready, you hit next. So now you're ready to build the sales. So here you can either type in you can do a barcode, you can do an item number, you can do a description. So I just type A, and all the products that begin with A. If I just keep typing, it would narrow it down, A and G, and then you get angle. So you just click off of that and just add them to the sale. Or if you had categories, you could find a category, decorations, and then just click off of that. Or if they had sales history, you can see what they've ordered the last time, and then you can click off of that. So that gives you 3 ways. And if you're going to do services, installation, or whatever, you could add services and labor that way. So this gives you some quick, easy ways to build a quote fast. If you want to tweak the quote, you can click here, and you can have option 1, option 2, option 3. If you want to discount off the retail, if you want a cost, you can mark it up, or you just want to choose the price, you can just put a price in there. if you wanted to write special instructions, or if you wanted to set up product options, say this booth came with extra lights or electricity or a computer, or whatever options you wanted, you could put there, and then they would add that to the item there. So here, if it's a thing you have to order, like if this was a bill of materials, you set it up, you could decide if they didn't have a primary vendor. So when you process the sale, it can create a sales order, it can create a purchase order, and it can create a production order. So if you set up the preferences that these are buy items, the buy items are going to go over to purchasing. If it's a make item, it's going to go over to the production management module and create a production order.
Dean, I have a question for you. Do you inventory much and sell out of inventory, or is most everything custom order based on your sales order? Yeah, that's what I would have anticipated. So a lot of these things are going to trigger production and purchase orders so that you've got the materials, and I think Alan's like that. I think you're talking about right where Alan is headed. So I'll turn it back over to Alan.
If you like to organize your quotes in nice fashion, you can click here and then just use the arrow key and move that item up so you can organize all your items in a nice, neat way. See, what you would do is if you had a template, you would just duplicate your template with the lines right here. And so you don't have to keep recreating it. Every sale becomes a template for a future sale.
Are you talking about template in terms of line item? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, we have a well. So what we would do is we do that in our own quotes. We have a short description, and then we have a long description where you can give all the details. So if you want to, develop all, the materials, what you get, and you can just write that in the long description, and then include that. So uh, and then you can email it off over here. You can email the quote or print the quote and fax it, however you'd like. But okay, I'll look for that email. All right. So here I've moved to the sales summary page here. So here you can take a payment if you want to take a payment. If you want to integrate credit card processing into the system, you can do that. If you want to go directly to an invoice, you can create an invoice. Otherwise, process sale is the thing that's going to create, if you have services, create a work order. It's going to create a sales order over in fulfillment. It's going to create the purchase order. It's going to create the production order. So all of those things are automatic. So there's a lot of power and automation built into the system. If you were doing this from scratch, and we have hundreds of thousands of hours over the many years of building this system. So even a system built from scratch is going to take a long time to catch up to all the features that we have. But if you have too many features, you can hide the features and just see what you want to see. All our menus are sensitive to a wizard that you start up with here, and as you march through, it just asks you a bunch of questions. So depending upon how you answer these questions here, lots of things get hidden and not shown in the system. So all the menus expand and contract based on whether you actually need these things in the system. Usually people buy some of our hours for implementation. We have an implementation package, and we would just be a coach or a consultant for him, and he could use us however he needed to use us. As sometimes what we do is we do some of the more complicated stuff to start out, get you going, and as your person ramps up and gets familiar, and then at a certain point, as they learn the system, then they take it over, and then they can do you know things that you need them to do. But it depends on how skilled they are and how fast you want to get going in terms of the learning process. So we would talk about how to best serve your needs. So here, for instance, if you wanted to use our production management module, you would set up your stages of your production process. Kitting is gathering the materials, the assembly, inspection, packaging. You can name these things anything you want. And then based on that, you set up what's called a router or a traveler for an item, and then in terms of a sequence of how much time each stage needs, and then it automatically generates a production schedule for you. Well, what we do is we had tasks. So you have major stages, and then you'd have a unlimited number of tasks within a stage. Yeah, we could talk about that, but usually this is when the sale is closed and you go into a production. Yes, 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 yeah. We could have pre-production. I mean, that's the beauty of being in FileMaker, and what we do is, we can customize it exactly the way you need it to work. So, we've done every manufacturing company we've done, it's more like 80% we have because manufacturing processes vary. So, but we've done very similar things that you're describing. So we already understand a lot of and have anticipated some of your needs. But inevitably, people have their customizations, and that's fine. So let me finish that sale. Here we are, and so I've turned. Let me just make sure I've turned on the preference over here in sales. So when we process an order, we want to create purchase orders. See, the thing is let me make sure I have a make item, because otherwise, if there's nothing to make, it won't create a purchase order. So let me show you something that I think will help you understand how far along our system is to meeting your needs. Is that we have a thing called BOM here, okay? So in the BOM section, you can view the BOM, and then you can create your multi-levels however you want, create all your bill of materials, all your list of materials. And then if you wanted to duplicate it, you can have different versions. Say you had a similar BOM for a similar company, you could just come over here, duplicate the BOM, and just have version 2 of it or version 3 of it. And this adds up all your setup costs, your freight costs, your material costs, your labor costs, and then you can either mark up from the cost, or you can quote and override it. So this gives you a way to know how to price things. I don't know what your pricing method is, but this gives you a lot of good information. So here, if you wanted to search something, say you wanted to add a cabinet or something like that. Uh, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And you may
I,
set up a 10 by 10 booth and a 10 by 20 booth or different versions of those and then use those as starting points for the customized booth that you're doing later. Because they're not all exactly the same, but there are some, fundamentals on different sides. Right. So you're not
right.
having to reinvent the wheel every time. Uh,
Yeah, it's going to make your whole company more cohesive, more coordinated. System like this, our clients usually find that it pays for itself in a short time by the added efficiencies that it creates and the productivity. It gives you a higher capacity to handle more business also because you handle it more efficiently. Yeah.
Gene, I apologize. I have to jump to another meeting here. Alan's going to finish up, but I will certainly follow up with you and make sure that we got everything and all your questions answered and give you all the support we can. Yep.
So I don't know if you were watching me, but I was showing you how easy it is. You can drag something over and just, click on it here and then drag it here and then put it however you want underneath. You can create as many sub-assemblies as you want, or you can just select something and then just click on this and it'll go underneath that. So you can just keep going how many levels you want, and then you put how many you need in each one, and then you can, when you're done, you can save it, uh, and you can update it so this gives you a lot of, that's why I said it's a sandbox. You can play around with the different levels. So based on the levels in green, these are like called assemblies and sub-assemblies. So you have two assemblies and then this one sub-assembly. So when you convert this into a work order, into a production order, it's going to create all the levels of the process. So you start from the bottom up. First, it will create the sub-assemblies, then the assemblies, and then finally it'll assemble the final product. So, the client would just see the master product, the top. They would, yeah, this is right. So here you could either use the production process, the generic one, or you can create a specific one for this particular one, and then you can keep adding tasks. So here you could have task one, assembly task two, and then you can write all the instructions here. So you can click on that and then write all the details, cut this length, cut the drapery, add these rods. So you can have an unlimited number of instructions over here. You could even attach your document, and put your drawings here if you wanted to. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. 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 That's what that's what the duplicated BOM would do is you just take this basic structure, duplicate it, and vary it. Here you can keep all your images and documents, so you can add any manuals, any documentation, all your drawings. You can just insert them here and keep track of them here. Are you seeing this? Yeah. Here you can set up different pricing and costing levels. Here you can set up specifications if you have custom specifications and specs for this. Here on the inventory level, you can keep track of all the components, all the component inventory, every transaction. So when you consume them and a bunch of rods or whatever are consumed, when you do the kitting process, it would reduce the inventory here. And then when you do your finished goods, it would add them total produced. So all the transactions in the system immediately update the inventory, so you can know exactly where your inventory value stands at any given point. And if things drop below a reorder point, they'll show up in your purchasing module for you to reorder them. So the integration would is Jarvis a FileMaker thing or not? Hmm. Hmm. All right. So do you have multiple warehouses or just one warehouse? Okay. And you only have one profit center? Okay. So here you can see sales data, sales history. If you rent it, you can see all the rental history here. If this was a purchased item, you'd see all the purchase history. If this was a make item, you'd see all the production. So you can see here we have pending production orders on this system here. So this one dashboard gives you a lot of information in one place. Here you could have an inventory log, and every time something happens with this, so that at any given point in time, if you run a report, an inventory value report, you can know exactly as of any date what your inventory was. So all the reports you can run right here. So I'm going to add this to that sale. So here you have an easy way to navigate. You can go back to sales this way. Here's our sale here. So I'm going to add this item, go back to build sales. I'm going to type in Trespa and well, we got two Trespas. I think it's this one. Okay, so it's red because it's a bomb and it hasn't been signed off on. So I need to click on it and sign off on the bomb here, so that it's because if your bomb isn't up and finalized, you can't sell it. But I haven't. I'm not getting that button to click on, so I'm just going to go back over here really quickly, and I'm going to search for it up here. Yeah, I just took a screenshot, so because I want to. Yeah. So I'm going to go to the bomb. I'm going to view the bomb. I'm going to sign off on the bomb. I'm going to go back to the sale, and now it's not going to be in red anymore. Okay, so I'm going to put I'm going to put a price in there. We're going to sell that at $1,000, and so now I'm ready to do a sale. So if there's items that need to be purchased, it's going to create purchase orders, and it's going to create production orders. Um, but I have to hit that button to create the production orders. So this is, I guess I had the preference for the packing labels. I don't know, I didn't know I had that on. So, um, so it tells me we have a purchasing queue. We had some open POs already for those same vendors because we had pre-assigned vendors, and 2 new POs were created. It asked me where I want to go. Um, I'm just going to stay here because I want to create the production orders here and the production schedule. So it's going to ask me when I need this by, so that then it's going to work backwards based on how much time I said it's going to take to do each stage, which I don't know if I actually entered this. Usually I have to ask you whether you do the stages in terms of seconds, minutes, hours, or days. So I think this was done in minutes, but it'll just give you the idea of the automation and the power that we've done here. So we've created a sales order, we've created purchase orders, and now we're creating production orders. So this is going to basically change your whole company's processes to automate them, and you can build your intelligence into these processes, how you manage your company. And there's lots of metrics to measure how well you're performing, or key indicators to give you an idea of where you are in the process or what the status is. So at any point in time, you can keep your pulse on the whole process. So there's a lot. This is more than just a database. It's really a management tool to manage your whole business. Yeah, yeah. Some people call it ERP, CRM, business management. I mean, you know, it's just it's more that when you have all these different pieces, you're doing something in Excel, you're doing something in Word, you're doing something in QuickBooks. You're not really connecting all the pieces to know where everything stands. It's like I don't know how stressful that is for you to try to keep all this in your head. So I picked something that is taking some time, but it's going to save you a lot of time just having this do this, but it'll be done in a second. So basically, what we can do with you is we do a needs analysis when we start off, and then we go through the system in more depth than I'm going now and understand exactly how you need it to work. I mean, I wrote down everything you said, but how we're going to match the way your business runs and how this system serve your needs. That's where the fitting comes in, and whether you want to just take our system and then just have your guy who knows your company already just do it for you, that's fine. You can do that also. Do you know how experienced he is with FileMaker? All right. You guys are in Florida. Whereabouts in Florida are you? Okay. Yeah, I still live in Miami, so I know Florida a little bit. Oh, oh. So what areas do you serve? Do you serve customers all over the country, or are you mostly based in Florida? I see. So it's creating all the production orders, then it's creating all the production schedule. In each stage, you'll see in a second all the stuff it's doing. But I didn't realize how long it was going to take, so I should have done a smaller one just to demonstrate it to you. But mhm. Do you know which? No, we sell it by user. So however many users, it's simultaneous users on the system. So 14.99 is for the first user, and then it goes down after that, like 30% discount for the next four users, and then like a 40% discount for the next set of users. So it keeps, the more users you buy, the more discount you get. But there's Kibiz, which is the business system, and then there's the production management, which is the manufacturing module, which is like an add-on. Or so not everybody in your company, if they're doing sales, they need to be in the production management, only a few people. So you only buy the users you need for the modules you want. So if you want, accounting is like another add-on. If you wanted a customer portal for the web, if you want, because your clients want to see the status on their situation, instead of calling you, you can have them log in and get a status report, or get shipping information, or pay their bill, or do reorders, or so all these things you don't have to get initially, but there's something that you can add on as you go in the system. No, production management is an additional module. So Keybase is like got 9 modules. Keybase is like your contacts, your products, your inventory, your sales, your fulfillment, your invoicing, your purchasing. Um, so all of that is included in Keybase. Production management is going to be the creation of your bombs, your production schedule, your production orders, your whole management of your production process. All right, so I'm going to since you have limited time, I'm going to quit this and just see what we came up with, and come back into the system. So, because I know you have to go soon, right? Okay. So, were you interested in accounting also, or just basically in the front end? Okay. No, well, I mean, you can always add accounting, but sometimes it's like you don't want to get too overwhelmed. You want to um, take one step at a time. It'll be a big, well, the one user of accounting is like $1,000. So, but it's a lot to do a system like this, to train your culture, to change your culture, to get everyone on board. So, sometimes people just will start with this, and then they will add, the system later. So, it's up to you how you want to do it. Um, usually the production is, like $6.99 per user to add it on. So, we can work up a quote for you if you tell me what your users are. We can, shoot a quote over. You can have a better idea. But I think, usually we'll be like, I don't know, depending upon who you're talking with, will be a lot less than something that's being developed from scratch. Uh, Even, it's like, I don't, that's why I was asking you if you have any idea what these things cost, because usually a system like this, if you were to start from scratch, would, be 40, 50, $100,000. So, I mean, I don't know what you've been quoted, but our system will be a lot less than that. Okay, it's simultaneous users basically. So it doesn't matter whether they're from Go or whether they're from desktop or whether, yes. Yeah. I mean, if you haven't hosted, hosting it on a local server, hosting it on a remote server, you still need FileMaker on each computer in order to open the program. How many FileMakers do you have? Okay, great. Yeah. So, all right. I just want to show you how this is going to work with production management. I don't know if it finished that one that I was doing. So basically, here's Ashley. Here's two production orders. You click on a production order, it shows you the item, it shows you the components. Basically, uh, it's going to give you a complete overview of everything happening. Is this, is there things in the purchasing queue? Is there purchase orders? Do you have um, um, to wait till the production order comes in? What's your planning time? So, it gives you a lot of information right here. This is the router that you set up in terms of it has to go through these production stages. This is how much time it's going to take. And then it creates a production schedule. So here you can have all your production orders. And then let's see if I can get one with some data on it. Okay, so basically we're going to have your stages. You'll see each one here, and you're going to manage the production process with each one, and each one is going to give you uh, a schedule of where you are. So if I can find one that has some data, I can illustrate my point better to you. Okay, here we go. So here's items that need to be kitted. So you click on an item, and you would see the items here if it had some items. Let me go back. Jesus Christ. Yeah. This is all dummy data, so I'm just trying to figure out where we are. I have one that has some data. Okay, so here it had some data. It shows you how many you need, how many you've acquired, and you've pulled it back. So when it comes back here, it shows that it has been in green here. So green means it's 100% kitted. These that are in red haven't been kitted yet. So you would go through each of the stages here, and you would fill in how many are produced, how many are scheduled, and you assign it to a certain person on the staff, and then it's QA'd. And so in order to move through the stages, you have to like say how many have been produced. So right now it's in yellow, and it's like going to turn green when you produce the amount that you have produced. So you just move through the stages. Each stage has its own process and its own dates. And then when you get to a certain point, you're going to get a button that's going to say post finished goods. The finished goods button will not show up until everything has been completed. And then you do your final QA, and then you can see the production history on every item. So you click here, and you're going to see what has been done and how many stages it's gone through and what still needs to be done. So you're going to get an overview on each item as you move through the process. So this gives you a complete readout to see, on 218 this was done, it was QC'd by, it went through this stage, went through that stage, went through final QA. So it gives you all the information you need to get a complete overview on what's happening with this item. So you can go over here back to the summary page and see everything that's been done, or you can go back and see the overview here and go through all the production orders. So it gives you a lot of different views to understand exactly what's going on. Here it shows you all your materials. If you were to create a new one, you would just click here, and then you could create a production order from scratch. But since yours are custom, you're going to create most of your production orders from sales. So did I lose you, or did you stay with me? Okay. No, I mean, I went fast. I just showed you a bunch of stuff. So here you can get an overview of all your production orders on the list view. So production orders are part of a job. So this is like job 126. So if you just want to see your jobs, you come here to the job list view, and you see all your jobs are here. So jobs have multiple production orders. Production orders have multiple tasks. So it's like a hierarchy, and you keep track of it. And then each production order goes through the various stages. So it goes through a planning stage, assembly stage, and so forth. So it gives you the status here of what stage this job is in. Is that making sense to you? So when you're done, you come back over here to fulfillment, and you look at your order list, and here's this order that we just did. It has the ship date of 4/10. Here's the items, and it's going to tell you when it's ready to ship. So it's going to tell you whether this item has been completed or not, whether it's been back ordered or whether it's been delivered. So you can manage your delivery process here. And then this integrates with the shipping module here, where you can integrate this with UPS or FedEx or US Post Office. So you can do the tracking, you can do all your forms and your printing if you buy the shipping module here. So this gives you a lot of power to produce all your shipping documents, get the tracking number. You can weigh the rates. You can just click here, get all the rates, and figure out what the best rate is. You want to ship it UPS. You want to, it depends on you in terms of how you, do your shipping. Whether you need to, weigh shipping rates and figure out the best option to ship it. It's up to you. When you're ready, hit ship, and it creates all your shipping documents and so forth. So invoicing, here we have an AR module that tracks all your AR payments. You can post your payments over into the accounting module if you wanted to. You can apply your payments here. As I said, purchasing, basically, I mentioned this to you before, but there's, a you can create all your purchase orders. Here you can create a new PO. You can assign certain products to certain vendors, or you can go to the purchasing queue to make decisions. So here's all your items, and if you want to group them and give a quantity break, you can just click there, and it tells you that you need, from all your orders, you need 4 of these. You can see what your reorder quantity is, and then you can create a new PO. You can see what quantity breaks you get. So if you wanted to up the purchase quantity, because at a certain point you get the quantity break, you can make a better purchasing decision here, and then it just marches you through. If it already has a open PO for the errand, it will add it to that. Otherwise, it will create a new PO for you. You can email the PO directly out of the system if you want. Um, we have that ability to email right here, email the PO. If you want, we have created electronic communications with big vendors. If you want to, if they have a purchasing portal or a procurement area, that we have created automatic links where we can develop electronic communication. If that's something that you want to set up, we've done that before too. But the most common way is just you produce the PO and then email it to them directly here, and then you can receive the PO over here, and you click the item. You enter how many you've received. If you have partial shipments, it will show you, things have been back ordered, and then you post it into the inventory, and then it will show up over in the production area. In the kitting area, it will show you your pending POs. It will show you when it's been received, and it will show you it's now ready to start the production process because now you've received all your raw materials. All right. Do you want 5 users on production management or just 5 users for? All right. Okay, we'll send it over to you. Sure. Well, thanks. All right. Bye-bye.